So I might be selling these Oak Street penny loafers, these beef rolls. I sold my Oak Street trench boot, realized wearing it, I'm not a big fan of the boot. It's fine, it just wasn't great, and it kind of wasn't being worn anymore. Picked these up. I don't remember if I've done a video on them already, maybe. These are their Beefroll penny loafer, and this is honestly probably the footwear they made that is how I originally found them, and it's not even made by them as far as I can tell. And I'm very, very confident on this. These are made by Rancourt and Company or whatever for them. Good presentation though, Oak Street. I'll give them credit for that. You know, they always have these are I don't know, boot bags for shoes, so a shoe bag. They got nice shoe boxes, boot boxes. They definitely get the whole presentation, that piece, you know, of the customer experience. I would say I'll give I forget the guy's name. I think he's Greek. The dude who created this brand. It's not really a boot or shoemaker. I've talked about this before. They contract. And I don't like this aspect. They kind of present themselves as a shoe and boot maker, but they're not. They're neither. They're a brand who does like orders from boot and shoe factories to make their product, and obviously they'll manipulate things a little bit differently and then put their logo on it, but like they don't make their own thing, and that gives me a little bit of a displeasure. I don't like that. But this is some version of a Rancourt Beefroll penny loafer. The only difference is obviously it has Oak Street branding on the sole and on the insole and the box, etc. I think there's some differences they're doing, but I mean, like everything, the way these labels look, I don't know if I can get this to focus right, but Rancor does the exact same thing where they print the size and the serial number and all this stuff, same font, everything. I have a couple pairs of Rancorts, but I think this might be a little different. I feel like this is lower. The stitch in this piece is a little bit lower on the Rancourt penny loafers, but I don't know if that's just a production variance or like a actual intentional difference. But I think I might sell these because the sizing doesn't make sense. So they claim true to size on their site for for certain shoe footwear. You know, the trench boot specifically is the one I'm remembering they said true to size. And I originally bought that, as you've seen in my video, an 11.5, which is my Branix 11.5D, and it was too tight in the top. It was actually, I remember, it was pinching the tops of my toes. It wasn't so much the, like, horizontal side-to-side toe run that I have issues with sometimes, but it was just too low and kind of pinching. They told me you should go up to a 12, which is what I wear in sneakers, and I did, and that one actually fits okay. That was the pair I had that I sold, the trench boot. This, they say, I think they said a fold down from your Brannick in the Beefroll penny loafer. And I'm like, well, the 11.5 was kind of too tight, so I ended up with the 12. So a fold down from that should be an 11. So this is what I got. I got these in 11D. And they fit, but with this really, and this is a very stiff leather sole, I ended up when I walk, my heel slips out of one. I don't remember which one it is. One of them more than the other, but both of them it slips out a bit. So I get a bunch of heel slip, and I've tried it with socks and it's a little bit less of a slip, but it seems like I would have needed a 10D. But I wonder if a 10D the toe box might be kind of tight because this is already like my toe is already kind of pushing out here a little bit, my big toe. So it's like maybe I would have needed a 10.5E, which they don't. Rancourt does various widths, but Oak Street doesn't. So it's almost like I just can't get the right fit with this footwear, and you know, it's frustrating because I do actually like this navy Chromexcel. Looks really cool. Wearing these with shorts in the summer, I enjoyed them, and I do like the leather the outsole. It's kind of nice. Looks kind of classy, kind of. I don't know, kind of a timeless look. And I'm just frustrated by the fit. And what's really weird is they had a sale, and It was a lace up. I forget what they call that model, but it was in a navy suede type material or a rough out. And that one I ordered an 11 as well, and it was super short and tight. So clearly it's because they have different lasts, and like I said, Rancor's making this stuff for them. They use Rancor to make their footwear, their shoes, not their boots necessarily. The 11D in the lace shoe, I forget what they call it, a camp mock, not a camp mock. I forget what it's called. Was super tight. I returned those immediately. I put them on. I was like, my feet are getting crushed. But then the 11D in the Beefroll penny loafer is a little bit too big because I get heel slip. It's like, and then the boots, if I buy true to size, they're too tight as far as the toe pinch. So I have to go up, half up from branding. It's like their sizing is all over the place, and their sizing advice, it does not work at all for me. So I'm kind of like, you know what, this brand is kind of pissing me off. I think I'm gonna be done with it, and it's frustrating because I do visually this this shoe looks exactly like I wanted. It looks super cool. You know, I was kind of cross shopping this against the Grantstone, whatever they call their penny loafer, also navy Chromexcel. But to me, this is just so much more kind of classic Americana. You know, I think my grandfather always wore black penny loafers. My dad even wore them a little bit at least in the 80s. And I really like this color and the build. You know, I like Rancor. Rancor makes nice stuff, but it's like your guys' sizing advice is kind of screwy. And what's stranger too is I have 2 pairs of Venetians slip-ons from Rancor. Both of them are an 11.5D, and they fit good, and I don't have heel slip. So why the hell is this 11D giving me heel slip? I don't get it. I think this might be the, what is it, the 800 last or something from Rancor, and my actual Rancor branded Rancors, I think both are the 114 last. So that could be it. But it's like, what is going on? So I don't know. I didn't get a ton of wear. I've only had them for kind of one summer, and you know, I didn't wear these exclusively. Clearly, they don't have a ton of wear on them, as you can see. I was wearing these and those Marine Field, you know, the natural Chromexcel rough out Venetians that I have from Rancor, and then flip flops, and that was probably it for the summer. Oh, maybe we went on a trip to Europe, but I think I brought some boots that time. But I don't even know if I was wearing any sneakers this last summer. I think I was just pretty much wearing these slip-ons and flip flops. But they don't have a ton of wear. But I don't know. I think the problem with selling stuff like this is, you know, I did wear them barefoot a little bit. I started wearing them with no-show socks to try to eliminate the heel slip, but it doesn't really help. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to pay too much for secondhand shoes that they know people have worn barefoot. It's just kind of gross. So I'll have to see if I could sell them for a fair amount. Obviously, I expect to take kind of a cleaning on this and get kind of hosed, but like, you know, lose half of what I paid out of them. But if I can't even get that, I might just keep them. It's possible if I wear these with like full normal socks, like with pants, to sort of like for like a nicer dinner or something in the summer, maybe that will help the heel slip. But it's just kind of wild. It's just frustrating. But yeah, I figured I would do a quick video just talking about them. They're very cool. If the sizing worked for me, these would have been a great pair of shoes. But that heel slip is a little screwy. It's frustrating too because I still wonder if I had done the 10.5D, would that have worked, or would it have been super tight in the toe box? Like again, I kind of feel like whatever, if this is the 800 last, I think is what Rancor calls it. They're supposed to have a little bit wider of a toe box than the 114. You don't know though because Rancor has they're the ones who are making these. Clearly, the similarities are uncanny, but then Oak Street being a brand and not actually a footwear maker, like rebrands this with a different last name, and it's just confusing as hell. But you can't get wide. They don't do widths at Oak Street from what I've seen. They just do different lengths. Everything's D. Probably because, again, they're not the actual footwear maker. They're just a brand selling runs. Similar to Parkhurst, but at least Parkhurst seems to at least have a little more control. And I don't know of anyone selling a similar, boot out of Spain that looks the same, but they don't make any of their own stuff. They're doing runs from factories overseas. This leather sole is quite stiff, to be honest. I remember just standing on it trying to bend them, but like, it's really thick. I think it's because it's actually two, because these are Blake stitched, right? So it's actually two layers if you look closely. It's like a midsole end, because moccasin style, right? At least in the front. I don't know what's underneath this little sock liner, but this is moccasin construction up front. So this is all one solid piece. So you're actually stepping on the bottom, what would be the vamp, and then this looks like a weld, but it's not a weld because this is Blake stitched. So this is actually a midsole with a fake welt stitch on top, and then there's the outsole. So it's like two thick layers of leather versus, like a boat shoe. It's just like a thick piece of rubber, but the rubber flexes perfectly. This is very stiff. But yeah, visually these were dope. So yeah, might end up selling these, and I'll have to probably stall before I list them because I feel like trying to listing a penny loafer kind of summer shoe in January, February would be asking to not sell it for much. I don't think there's any interest, so I'd have to probably put these away in the closet and list them, in the spring when people are actually kind of interested in wearing footwear like this. But yeah, if that's the case, I mean, this will be the end of my Oak Street ownership because I just won't buy anything from them anymore. It's just a brand. It's not, they're not actually a maker. I don't like that. I'd rather just buy if I want a penny loafer, I'll just buy it from Raincourt because they're the ones who actually make it. They should have their name on this because it's actually made by them. And I don't like how Oak Street's just a brand and not an actual manufacturer. But that's enough about that. These are the Beefroll penny loafer. Cheers.